working on my energy. Cleaning up, I'm taking care of myself and me. Drinking coffee, take a sip, they say I'm sparkling. Manifest it, write it down, you know it's happening.
What up, beauty gang? Long time, no talk, no see, no communication, just ghosted. I know. It wasn't my plan or intention either. However, as you can tell by the title, we're gonna do some catching up, okay? Some thorough catching up. It's a lot. I don't know, it's like a little bit nerve-wracking a little bit to be back because I've just been gone for so long, so it's like getting my feet wet a little bit again. But I'm also excited and relieved because when I left, the state and mind and like my mental health and emotional health, all of it, where I was at on the last video that I posted in comparison to now has been a dramatic difference. So let's just hop into this. Like, there's no point of the little intro and all that stuff. Y'all know how we usually get into things. You can also see your girl looking real rough. Okay, so it's a Sunday. It's time to beautify myself while I'm talking to my beauty gang. So I'm gonna do a little something with my hair and do a little self-care while we catch up. So if you want to do the same with me, go ahead and pause this video real quick. Grab you a face mask, grab you some hair products. I'm gonna low-key like deep condition a little bit. And yeah, let's just get into this. Yeah, also I want to start too, before we even hop into that, saying happy holidays to you all. I hope you guys have been well, living your best lives, your most healthy lives. I hope you guys are flourishing. And also I hope if you're not feeling in that way, you're not feeling like you're in that season just yet, I hope that you know that it's coming for you. I just want to pour encouragement and uplift you guys. That's something that I pray about pretty much every day to God when it comes to me trying to figure out what is my purpose, like what am I here for, what am I doing, okay? Anyway though, I wanted to make sure that I said that. If you're feeling a similar sentiment, just know you're not alone at all, and we're gonna get into that. But yeah, I've missed you guys lots, and lots have been going on, so I feel like, where do we even start? Well, I think first and foremost, actually, the biggest, right on the nose ring, really? Okay, let me get a little closer. But the biggest update that I would have for you guys off the gate is that your girl is officially a wifey for lifey. If you don't, you don't want to focus on it, okay? The little ring, the little bling bling. I'm a wife, y'all. I'm a wife. It's even still interesting, like, getting used to saying that and digesting that, because especially for the beauty gang OGs that have been on this journey with me really since the beginning. I got on YouTube maybe a year after my relationship started with my now husband. So majority of you guys, or a lot of you guys, have seen our journey from the very beginning and seen our like evolution and our growth, and it's been amazing. But oh my gosh, y'all. Yeah, your girl's a wife. Your girl's a wife. We got married October 1st. Actually just released our wedding pictures to the public this week on Thanksgiving, which is kind of like played into what we did 2 years ago when we announced our engagement on Thanksgiving in 2022. So yeah, it's been a lot going on, you guys. I really don't even know where to start with that because my wedding day was beautiful. Everything worked out the way it needed to, but it didn't go at all as planned, like at all. And a lot of you guys know, like, I'm a Virgo. That perfectionist trait is in me, and all else that comes with Virgo-ness, right? So for the wedding day not to go as planned, like there was some hot ass mess stuff that was taking place, you guys, that I honestly am gonna have to do separate videos on. I've already kind of started planning out in my head like the type of content that I want to do as I return back to you guys, type of stories that I want to share of what I've like learned and been through while I've been gone, honestly. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but 2 stories y'all can for sure look forward to in regards to kind of like the wedding and stuff surrounding it. One, 72 hours before my wedding, y'all. 3 days before my wedding, my identity was stolen. Like, bank accounts hacked, money taken, a lot. 3 days before my wedding. It was bad. 72 hours before our wedding. And no, not everything was finished being paid off yet. But thank God for multiple streams of income and diversifying where my money is and accounts and stuff. It was, whew. Yeah, so that was the thing. We'll get into that in another video. But then also, on my actual wedding day, hairstylist woke me up with a text basically telling me she moved her flight, because I had hired someone to do my hair, fly them out here, all that stuff. Woke up to a text from her telling me she changed her flight and that she'd be landing later than the flight I bought for her. I don't want to go too deep into it, y'all. I'm just trying to give y'all a little bit and know that more info is coming. But essentially, her pulling that effed up the timeline of our wedding day. Like, completely effed it. So that'll be a story for you guys coming pretty soon here. I didn't really want to focus on those things too much though, because there was so much more that's taken place within this last 2 months. Growth and introspection and evaluation and just a lot of self-reflection, a lot. But those are some things that took place, and kind of why I feel like me ghosting YouTube and ghosting y'all kind of happened so abruptly, because I absolutely didn't anticipate it or plan for it at all. I knew, like, once I got married, like our wedding or whatever, I knew I was gonna take a little break. It wasn't fully planned out in my head, but it for sure wasn't planned to just go ghost. But just things like that, like I've never been scammed before, let alone had my identity hacked, and the way they went about it, it was just so, it was crazy. It was crazy. Again, it'll have to be a different video, but that took a humongous toll on me mentally and emotionally. Again, 3 days before my wedding. And then the actual wedding day, like, not really going as planned. And then honestly, like, even, let me finish putting on this face mask too. Even before that, I just feel like I've been like struggling with my mental health, but in particular like the stability of it for a while now. There'll be days, times, or moments where I'm feeling like super up, motivated, go-getter energy. And then there'd be other days where I'm feeling super low, insecure, down about myself, X, Y, and Z. And honestly, this lash trying to take me out. Although I kind of was feeling bad about like just going ghost and quiet for so long, it was also something I really needed for my self-preservation. Like for me to continue forward, because I really had to during these I call it my pause season. It's just giving me a lot of time to think and evaluate my life more and kind of pinpoint what the issues were. Because something that hold on real quick, I'm gonna rinse this off. When it came to like trying to figure out and pinpoint the issue, what am I trying to say? When it came to realizing I had an issue in the first place, there it is. The scenario that comes to mind immediately, it was maybe 2 weeks after my wedding day, one of the best days of my life, or if not the best day of my life. We weren't really on our phones like that. We were just in our honeymoon. We call it a honeymoon. Honestly, if you follow me on Instagram, then you know I've been in and out on there. I really ghosted YouTube more than anything, because I just wasn't in the right place and frame of mind to come to y'all, to be honest. Like I didn't have it in me. And it's kind of unfortunate, but I think that it's easier to live a false life or a sense of reality, or a false sense of happiness, if I'm really being honest. I'll talk to you guys a lot in my late night vent sessions about living at my edge, like just being super honest, transparent, open. That certainly will not change. And yeah, like I think it's just easier to, and I don't want to say even it's a matter of faking life, but it's easier to post a picture or post a quick like 30-second reel or whatever of yourself smiling and happy and stuff like that, than to come on YouTube and do a video where you guys get to see my energy and hear my voice and my face expressions. And it's easier to read somebody on YouTube, I think, than it is on Instagram. Instagram is nothing but, I don't want to say false realities, but temporary moments of happiness in people's life, and then people kind of take it as like, oh, their whole entire life is great all the time. And that's kind of the problem that I ran into. So I was saying, like, 2 weeks after we got married, starting to kind of be on my phone a little bit more again. And I just remember I was in a happy place. I was feeling good, like in the honeymoon season. Like, Bay and I were feeling good and stuff. Wasn't worried about like posting or anything. We were just focusing on our new chapter together. But yeah, I got on social media, ended up finding myself scrolling, who knows how long, because that's another issue. Like, when you get into that scrolling mode, it's easy to lose time. Bottom line though, by the time I got off of social media, I was sad, y'all. Didn't get on the app sad. I was happy, satisfied with life, like just in a good place mentally. Get off of it sad. What I ended up realizing and coming to terms with was the fact that later, because I had this whole kind of like breakdown moment with Josh and talked to him about how I was feeling and why and all that stuff, and he's kind of the one that's helped me like put a lot of things into perspective of like making me even realize, so you got on the app, you were fine, you got off the app, you were sad. This is gonna get real, y'all. This is some real stuff. I realized that essentially seeing other people's success tapped into an insecurity within myself. So it was really like stuff I was seeing on there was women starting businesses and the businesses booming and successful, and people just really killing their lanes, like doing their thing. It's weird because I'm like one of the number one advocates of like supporting Black businesses and Black women. I love to see people winning, especially people that look like me. I love to see it. That's truly a part of my character and my nature. It's authentic. But living at my edge, the other side of it that has to be acknowledged and that I think I just ignored for so long was that if I enjoy seeing other women win and like people doing their things and stuff so much, I'm happy for them, then why do I get off the app and I'm sad? Why doesn't that like happiness continue? And like I said, one part of it is the fact that it tapped into an insecurity of mine of like feeling like I'm not doing enough. Like, I'm not where I need to be. That's really, it taps into that insecurity, because it's like you're seeing all these people doing X, Y, and Z and killing shit, and it's kind of like, dang, well, I wasted my time doing this today, or I didn't start this business yet, or I didn't. It's just a comparison being the thief of joy is like the most real ass statement ever. But yeah, one, it tapped into insecurity, but the other living at the edge part that I had to come to terms with is I was being a hater hoe. It's hater hoe energy. It's a problem that really in particular, I can only speak for, my experience, what I've observed, and like my race really, but like in the Black culture in particular, it's always been an ongoing issue of you're happy to see people doing good, but not doing better than you. Or it even appearing, because you don't know. At the end of the day, none of us really know how somebody's life is. We only know what they share. We only know what we see that they decide to share with us, which again is usually the best moments of people's freaking lives, especially when it comes to Instagram. It's instant gratification, instant capturing of moments, just instances. But yet so many of us compare our life to an instant, to a moment that was captured, and then allow that feeling of lack to take over us. The feeling of lack, like you see somebody with the latest new gym shoes or something, and then you feel bad about your gym shoe collection because it's like, oh, I don't have that. Or you see somebody get a new car. You might have just got a new car, but their new car might be a higher end brand or whatever, and then you see it and you just feel shitty about yourself. It's a very toxic and detrimental cycle, to be honest, that me and Josh, we've been referring it to it as the Matrix. Like, we're already, what people don't realize is we're already in the metaverse. You're starting to kind of see promotion of it here and there, and that it's coming, but in my opinion, it's already here. It just hasn't even really grown into the monster that it's about to be, and it's easy to miss the signs. But like I said, it's helpful to have a partner, especially somebody you're living with, because they can call out certain things you might not be able to even see yourself. And that was something that was really like eye-opening and like an epiphany for me, because I'm like, well, in real life, I'm living in currently some of the best times of my life. This was 2 weeks after I married the love of my life, my college sweetheart, my best friend. I should be like in marital bliss. But I get on social media for a second, see somebody else that appears to be living a better life than me or doing more in their life than me, like seems like they're just going. And I just was sad. And it was crazy because it's like, that's the digital world. Social media, YouTube, these social media platforms, it's digital. It's not real life. We can't touch each other. We can't even like physically see each other. We see through a screen that allows us to see the other side. It's so dimensional, really, when you think about it. It really is kind of like the Matrix. But yet, saying all that to say, it has such a major effect and impact on our mental health and our emotions and how we feel about ourselves, our self-esteem, our confidence. It shapes so much for something that we can't even touch. You know, it's wild. But yeah, like that I think was the real big eye-opening situation for me that really started putting things into perspective. Like, okay, this is a problem, where I was able to pinpoint what it is. Because there was other times where I would get on social media, get off sad, but there was not this level of consciousness. That lens or Johari window was not open for me yet to realize, like put two and two together. Oh, I got on here and I was in a pretty good headspace. I'm getting off and I'm not really feeling it. I didn't put two and two together. Oh, it's because of what I just digested. It's information overload every single freaking day, y'all. It's pretty crazy. And like, that's something this year, there's just been so many levels of consciousness that I've tapped into this year. And I don't even know if I'm even gonna be able to, if I'm gonna be able to get through all of what I wanna say in this video, but it's cool because I'm back and we're gonna talk about this. And we're going to get through this together because I know for a fact I'm not the only person that feels this way. And I feel like, especially as an influencer, it's so important to speak up and remain relatable in the bullshit that we're going through in life. And I don't even want to say, it's not all bullshit. There's beauty, there's pain, there's ups, there's downs, mountains, valleys, all of it. And I think it's important as somebody who has an impact and essentially, like, I guess, influence on other people's life, painting this fake ass narrative and picture that things are always greater, Instagram worthy, is not a sustainable lifestyle for me anymore. It really never quite has been. But that's kind of the thing too that I've come to realize. I started this social media journey, but in particular, it all started with YouTube, February 2026. No, 2026. 2016. February 2016 is when I officially like launched my channel. I was a junior in college. And when I really think about it, like, even starting this journey, I was a kid, bruh. A lot of y'all has literally seen me grow into an adult, grow into womanhood, the evolution of me being a conscious, functioning adult. Because a junior in college, you just aren't it. And you're not necessarily supposed to be. Like, life is still kind of sheltering you a little bit. You don't fully understand or comprehend adulthood, let alone the relationships and entanglements that happen throughout like this journey. Saying all that to say, what I really realized, and I've talked about it, I feel like enough. It's something also that I've realized I have to let go of things. I harbor a lot, and it does nothing but weigh me down. But one of the things I was harboring on a lot that I've talked to you guys about was like those 2 years, like the YouTube Black situation. If you see my other late night event sessions, you know what I'm talking about. And I kind of basically summarizing it quickly, feel like YouTube Black really was a pivotal moment for me because it kind of changed my whole direction on how I viewed myself and my content and what I thought I should be doing or should be posting or my aesthetic should be X, Y, and Z. You can go back to old videos and piece more together if you want, but for those who understand what I'm talking about, saying all that to say, I feel like I was continuing to dwell on it. And as I was dwelling on it, each time it just brought out this emotion in me that, like, one, made me pity myself more, feel bad for myself, and then also like just dwelling in the energy of the past, like just dwelling in that feeling of kind of like, how could I be so dumb? Why did I let this knock me off my course? Just kind of like playing villain and victim. That's a really good way to put it. Playing villain and victim. And it's just like there's no progress with either one. That was something that was kind of like subconsciously holding me back in a lot of ways. And I forgot, it might have been another conversation with my husband at some point, along with many conversations with myself, but it was kind of like, all right, so when are you gonna stop looking in that rearview mirror? When are we gonna be done with this conversation? And forgive yourself, really? A lot of this too that I didn't even realize at the time, I hadn't forgiven myself for the mistakes of my past. And one of the biggest ones I feel like is allowing the matrix, that 2-year matrix, to change me. The best example I can kind of give is the materialism aspect. And honestly, it does kind of fall into, though, something else I had bullet pointed that I wanted to talk about. Is that another realization that I've had while I've had this pause season and just been, trying to figure out my actual life off of the digital world. Influencing is not a one size fits all. It's just not. But at that time that I'm referring to, and prior to that, I thought it was. YouTube Black phase for me, I felt like I was invited somewhere I didn't belong. Although I did, based off my numbers and hard work, I worked my ass off to get to where I was when I was there, based off the materialism around me and what I was seeing. It made me feel like I don't belong here. I just felt super inferior. If I knew what I know now, that wouldn't have happened. However, again, instead of dwelling so much on the past and getting in my ass, why did you allow that to mess you up and throw you off your path, and just because you also got to work on talking nicer to yourself. That's something I realized. It's would you talk to your best friend that way? If my best friend went through this phase of losing herself for a bit, when she comes out of it, I wouldn't be the type of friend that's yeah, you shouldn't have did that, sis. You messed up and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm gonna just speak life into her. And that's what I realized I wasn't really doing for myself. I wasn't speaking life into myself. I was just judging myself and hard on myself, you messed up. But I needed to go through that. I needed to go through it because now I'm on the other side of it, and I realize it's not something that brings me fulfillment and happiness. But at that time, like I said, I thought influencing was a one-size-fits-all almost. The Instagram baddies of the world, the catchy captions. We just live in such a microwave freaking generation. Everybody's doing the same thing, maybe with a little twist. It's not much authenticity that's really left. A lot of you guys that were following the journey, even in terms of me transforming my room, which, by the way, I think I might do an update on it because it's definitely changed more since I did my room transformation video last year. I've updated it more, and I actually plan to revamp a little bit more of it. Hopefully I can get it done before the year is over. So comment below if you guys want me to do a little updated office room tour, take you guys through that process really, because I will probably want to vlog a little bit of it as well. I had to go through the valleys to make it up the mountain again, and I'm not even all the way up the mountain. So let me be very clear about that right now. I'm not even saying that I'm where I want to be, definitely not, but I'm woker and more aware. The self-awareness is on a whole nother level, because that's the only way that I can continue to grow and evolve. Me having these conversations with my loved ones and then coming and having the conversations with you guys is not only a way to hold myself accountable and kind of drill it in my mind. This is who I'm becoming. This is who you want to be. Because it kind of, when you start to have conversations out loud with others, it holds this mirror to you that you cannot ignore anymore. If I was just to continue having these conversations in my head, my ego and pride could easily allow me to kind of write off oh no, this is cool, this is cool. But I'm someone who is always determined to grow. I never want to be stagnant, and I never want to be complacent. So therefore, I always have to grow to feel like I'm doing something with my life. I'm becoming better than I was yesterday. To me, these type of conversations are necessary, not just for myself, to hold myself accountable, but also for anybody who can relate in any way to what I'm sharing and what I'm going through in my journey of womanhood. Because it's something. It's something. And I brought up starting my channel junior year of college because I wasn't a woman then. I was a child adult who thought I knew a lot, but really didn't know shit, but also just super impressionable. Again, which is tying back to why I said at the time, I really didn't realize that influencing was not a one size fits all. And there's no guidebook to this either. So all you can really do is piece together what you see. Essentially, you see your peers that are successful. Oh, what are they doing? How did they get to where they're at? For example, in the past, I thought my outfit and the purses that I have, the jewelry I'm wearing, the shoes I'm rocking, and the caption. The caption gotta be catchy, it gotta be punny. I thought that that was the way to go as an influencer because I saw peers who had that vibe going on, like always slay to the gods, the catchy captions, the Instagram baddie, right? Like that whatever comes in your mind as soon as you hear that. Those are the people that you'll see have the most likes and have the most engagement and have the most followers and stuff like that. And that's the kind of crazy thing too, because when I first started this journey, it was super like authentic and had a purpose and had a mission and it was about helping others, and it was just super selfless. And then the 2-year matrix after that YouTube Black thing, it was this phase of selfishness and ignorance, to be honest. All I can really chalk it up to is my immaturity at the time. Like, you don't know what you don't know. But I am someone that feels like when I do know something, when I do discover something, find something out, I can never go back to what it was. I needed to go through that 2-year matrix, no matter how kind of like embarrassing, and I used to regret it. I can't regret it anymore because I wouldn't be the person that I am or the person I'm becoming or the woman I'm going to be if I didn't go through that phase. Influencing isn't a one-size-fits-all, and the reason I actually kind of came to terms with that and realized it is because I am currently living in an answered prayer. Issy in college, the Issy that started this social media journey, wouldn't believe what I've done, like what I've created and where I'm at today, the brands that I'm working with. I wouldn't believe it. So to be here now, living in that answered prayer, but then found myself still unhappy, understand the like confusion your girl was going through. I'm still a little confused, but I have a little bit more understanding now than I did then 100%. I'm seeing things a little more clearly now. But you see in college and especially post-college after graduating, I was really like fully immersed, like, okay, full-time influencer mode. I'm here, let's get it. The mentality that I had at the time and the wants that I had are very, very different now. Everything I wanted in college and kind of post-college, what I wanted for myself, my career, where I wanted to be, I'm there now. I've been there, I would say probably the last year, like when we moved into our apartment. But yet last year was probably one of the most unhappy and dissatisfied years of my life. And very inconsistent. That's when my inconsistency, I feel like, really started happening on social media too. Not to mention just life shit was taking place. Multiple deaths in my family. That shook the core of my foundation. We all know the concept of life. There's life, there's death, but it's not until it hits home, it's in reach, where it's super sobering to realize certain people aren't gonna be in your life forever. It's weird to really digest, because it's not like this, it wasn't a secret, it wasn't a hidden secret. We knew this, but now that I'm an adult and it's happening in my life, I'm seeing it happen. I'm seeing my loved ones get older, weaker, more tired, and these are people that, this is my foundation. And then other personal things going on, relationships and friendships that were just super unstable, that shook my core again. And then kind of started to come out on the other side of realizing, dang, I was in the matrix. Like, I let this influence me and that influence me, and now I got it all and I'm not happy. Like, it's not doing it for me. So I'm unhappy in life and lost myself. I feel like I lost myself, the bit of stuff that I understood at the time. So that shook. It was just so much foundational shaking that's been going on for a while now. And I think that I just really struggled with showing up. That's the best way I can put it. Because I didn't know how to navigate all this foundation shaking and still be present on here. Like, still be able to communicate how I'm feeling. Honestly, I wouldn't have been able to have this conversation with y'all last year or even earlier this year or even 2 months ago, right before I got married, because I needed that. You need time to think. If there's anything I've learned most this year, it's that I wasn't giving myself time to digest anything. Again, we live in such a microwave society and generation now where, like, we'll see bad news, take it in for a second, and then you gotta push it off and like keep it pushing. Life is always, yes, about keeping it pushing, but it also has to be about self-reflection and analyzing things and rethinking and reformatting the way you see the world, and the perspectives that you have aren't always law. Perspective isn't law. It's your own personal paradigm of what your life experience was, and although your feelings may be valid, it doesn't make it law. So there's just been I've had like a dramatic change in growth in the way I think, in my perspectives, and my evolution this year in particular, but even especially during these last 2 months, in a way that EC last year wouldn't recognize myself today, like at all. At all. And this is the thing too, why I feel like I couldn't really show up for you guys, because it's painful to discover toxic traits about yourself. At least for me, I don't take them with a smile. I'm not happy to realize, like, dang, I really effed the pooch on this one. It's not like something I'm proud of or happy about, and it can be very intense to go on the journey of self-discovery. I think a lot of people, when it comes to like discovering self and finding out who I am, I think it's oftentimes very glamorized. And there's certain parts of it that can be glamorous. It can be fun to create high maintenance routines and, you know, that type of stuff, self-care. But the hard work, that hard shit, the shit that's going to really transform you and mold you into something different, is gonna be uncomfortable and sometimes painful. I think that is the true reason why I couldn't show up for y'all on here, and why it was easier to still dibble dabble in and out of Instagram. Because part of me feels like was something I'll probably really eventually do is take a true hiatus from all of it. So if I'm gonna like not be on this platform, then I'm not gonna be on no platform. Like it didn't, and like I said, none of this was intentional. Now that I'm in this headspace, the way I will move will be with so much intention. I know that I'll come out on the other side a little bit less all over the place with my understanding of things. But my level of like consciousness and understanding as a 28-year-old adult woman, like I'm a grown-ass woman now. Y'all, I'm a grown-ass woman. I'm a married grown-ass woman. I'm just so different now. My life has completely changed. I'm not the same person I was when I started this journey. Womanhood and evolution and growth is it's a forever cycle. It's not gonna stop. It's not gonna be one day where I come on here with a video with you guys and be like, I figured it out. I'm good to go. And that's something else I had to realize though. I thought that naively, once I started tackling certain toxic traits, once I've tackled them, like once I check, then like life will be great. But no. There's another one, and there's another one. So to have to develop a better relationship with myself. I didn't have no relationship with myself, y'all. And that's why I was able to be so impressionable when it came to that 2-year matrix, when I was feeling super inferior and allowed myself to feel less than or feel like I'm lacking something in life. Digital world as well as the materialism world that made me feel like that. But everything else I was rich in. I was rich in relationships, rich in love, rich in friendships, rich in the intangibles of life. But yet was feeling like that wasn't good enough. And it's kind of crazy, like that's just, to me, I think the country that we live in. And the only reason I'm saying this too, and I'll probably have to do a different video on this, but Josh and I went on a honeymoon, a spontaneous honeymoon trip. We planned this honeymoon in 2 days and 48 hours to go to Jamaica. Super last minute, it was kind of wild. Like, we'll have to talk to you guys about that another time. But there is content on my Instagram of the trip and how amazing it was. But the reason I bring up Jamaica, and we absolutely had the time of our life. Jamaica's a beautiful place. 10 out of 10 recommend going if you've never gone, or if you're contemplating, should I go? Go, most definitely. We will be back. This is why I think it's so important to travel too, because it gives you a different perspective. And one of the really big pieces that I took away from our trip in Jamaica was realizing, one, how privileged we are, us Americans, the privilege that we have. I think oftentimes makes a lot of us super lazy and complacent. But beyond that, Jamaica is nothing like, for example, where I live, how I live, or whatever, Chicago. All this technology and infrastructure and materialism on 1,000. You know, tech on 1,000. We're so advanced over here, right? But we also have so many people that are so unhappy and unsatisfied with life. But then you can go to Jamaica and, for example, somebody can have one pair of shoes, but they're the happiest person on that island. And it's almost interesting too, because that's the best way I can describe it. Like, materialism runs so many of us. I won't generalize, but it runs a lot of us. And when we were there, it really made me realize we have so much at home, but still so unsatisfied, but they can have so little materialistic wise, but be so rich in happiness and fulfillment and satisfaction. And you have to start looking at life like, what am I missing? Like, why are you unsatisfied with your life? And that's kind of another thing. I couldn't quite have this conversation and relationship with myself and show up on here, because to me it just felt fraudulent. Something I literally say every day. Lord, please continue to help me inspire, empower, motivate, encourage, and uplift those that follow me, those that experience me and have access to me. Like, that's my number one goal. I want anytime somebody sees me, experiences me, whether it be a video, an Instagram post, seeing me in person, having a conversation, let it be one of those 5 things. Please. I pray for that every day. I wasn't capable of doing that at the time, because I didn't even know what the hell the problem was. Problems. Like what was, I didn't know. Now that I've had some time to digest and think, some just quiet time, that's something too that this year I've kind of said in different videos, and I don't know if I've emphasized it enough, but I just really didn't realize how much I didn't know myself. Like when it comes to, oh, be your own best friend and stuff like that. I don't even know if I was my own friend. I was gonna say this year, but really at all. I didn't realize for real, that there was a problem with my relationship with self until this year when we were out in LA for Coachella, but we stayed back in our hotel our last day. Josh kind of like had put me on to basically meditation, like close your eyes and just listen to nature. As I was listening to the breeze and kind of the grass and the wind blowing, and really Josh calls it God's technology, which I love. When you're just in nature, when you just, there's no tech, it's just life going on and you just are in it. And still, it made me emotional because it made me realize I couldn't pinpoint the last time I had silence. Like my mind wasn't on like over process mode, being entertained. Because when you're on your phone, watching TV, when you're involved in everything else other than God's technology, it's a distraction. You're being entertained, your mind is on that. It's not on that voice in your head. We all have that. That's who talks to us the most, but we don't spend time with self to kind of like develop a better relationship with that internal voice. And that internal voice is the one that oftentimes the one that makes us feel insecure or makes us feel like, or I don't want to say it makes us, right? Because then that's playing a little bit victim-y, but then also villain. The problem, you gotta stay woke. You gotta stay woke. When you take the time to actually start having a conversation with yourself, really what I've kind of come to terms with is a lot of like the issues that I experience in life or have in life trickle from like childhood trauma a little bit. I think that voice oftentimes is the childhood trauma that we've all gone through and never addressed or worked on or acknowledged. That's where a lot of insecurities and stuff stem from. And it's like, instead of constantly running from that villain, running from that monster or whatever, when are you gonna woman up face to face and start tackling what these issues are? Because you're gonna keep ignoring them, they're gonna keep resurfacing. Josh has this dark house theory that I really, really love. I feel like I might have explained it to you guys before. But the dark house theory is basically like this man, he had lost the keys to his house, and all the lights in his house were off. It was dark in his house. And he was looking for the keys outside his house. And his neighbor saw him and was like, hey, like, what are you looking for? He's like, I lost the keys to my house. I'm looking for the keys to my house. And the neighbor was like, oh, like, why are you looking for the keys to your house outside your house? And the guy was like, because it's dark in my house. Like, I can't see anything. That's when it clicked, where it's like, a lot of us are looking for answers to our life, to our purpose in life, to what we're supposed to do with our life outside of our dark house. The dark house being yourself, the dark house being the person in your head. The only way to turn on those light switches is to go within self to figure out the answers. You're not gonna find the answers anywhere else. You're not gonna find it in a YouTube video. You're not gonna find it in an Instagram post. You're not gonna find it in a TikTok showdown. All of it is work you're gonna have to do for yourself. There's nothing wrong with getting, motivation and inspiration here and there, but to think that it's going to help you find the answers you're trying to look for to figuring out your happiness is just it's not gonna happen. That's what I've realized, at least. But yet for so long, since at least even the beginning of this journey that I can think of, I was working and operating in the frame of mind that the influencing is a one size fits all. Like, this needs to be my goal. I need to do X, Y, and Z like so-and-so in order to be successful and to, and then also what I realized is that I've been using other people's puzzle pieces to try to fit into my own. So let's say your life is a puzzle, right? Then when you're putting together a puzzle, sometimes there's pieces that fit on this side and this side, but then you'll never find the piece that fits on this side and this side. Until the puzzle is pretty much almost done or whatever, you don't realize that that piece isn't in the right place. But if that piece is in the right place, then you got another piece that's in the wrong place, and the picture will never be complete. I feel like I was digesting social media and being influenced by other people's lives in a way where, for example, there was a phase that I realized like weekly vlogs were like booming, that's a thing, like, and it made me feel like, oh, I need to hop on this train. Kind of like me taking the puzzle piece of these weekly vloggers, influencers, trying to take that puzzle piece, put it into my life and think that that was gonna like resolve whatever the disconnect was happening within myself. It didn't resolve shit. The issue was still here. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. The puzzle piece didn't fit. It didn't work because it's not my lane. Like, I was trying to figure out my life, piece it together with other people's puzzle pieces instead of doing the harder work, which is taking time for self-reflection, because the journey is uncomfortable, remember? It's easy to let somebody else like try this out, and oh, let me try that out now that they've done it. The puzzle piece, right, theory is similar to the dark house theory. The beautiful thing about the dark house theory though is when you do go into that dark house, you're with yourself and there's nothing but silence there, and the person in your head, which is you're forced to have those uncomfortable conversations, and it's super important during that time to ask yourself why 5 times. So I started kind of the video off talking about, got on social media, I was fine, got off social media, and then I was sad and unhappy. Well, why though? Because my real life is dope as fuck. But I saw this in a digital world, in a matrix, and felt unsatisfied and unhappy with my actual life. But it's not one and the same. With the dark house theory, the beautiful thing is, as you learn more about yourself, you ask yourself those 5 whys, you dig deeper to figure out, why does this trigger me? Why does it do something to me? Once you get that answer, your light switch turns on. That's one room in your house though, right? Your house could be a 5-bedroom, 7-bathroom, 10-car garage, whatever. But you have multiple light switches in your house, a kitchen, a living room, stuff like that. That one switch, understanding the why of, oh, well, why? Okay, so the example, why am I unhappy when I get off social media? Oh, because I see this person is doing more than me, or winning. I see this person has a successful business. Well, why does their successful business bother you? Because I'm not doing everything I think that I should be doing. Why do you feel like you're not doing all that you think you should be doing? Because I don't know if I'm gonna be good at it or if I'm gonna fail. Why do you think you're gonna fail? I have this insecurity, right? It's just an example. I got to the answer. And the answer ultimately ended up being the fact that I'm a hater hoe. But the thing is, really, I don't want to generalize, but majority of people are hater hoes. If you find yourself, and it's not, I don't want you to digest it in a way that makes you feel super bad about yourself. I want you to digest it, take it in, and realize, okay, I need to shift this. It's just something that needs to be acknowledged and shifted. Self-awareness is so powerful because without it, you're stagnant. So majority of people, we don't realize we're hater hoes. If we get on social media and then we get off and we just feel trash about ourselves, you're being a hater hoe. It's because you're not walking in those shoes, but at the same time, you don't even know what the shoes really is walking for, what they hitting for. You're seeing an instant moment in that person's life that's dope. It's wild, y'all. The journey of introspection and self-discovery and it's wild. But for me, the type of person I want to be, woman I want to be, wife, mother, daughter, friend, aunt, sister, niece, influencer, all the hats, in order for me to be that higher self and become who I know I am supposed to be, I have to be real with myself. You can't get no gosh dang where lying to yourself. At bare minimum, be honest with yourself. And that is why the dark house is scary, because it forces you to have to look yourself, the ugly, really it's more so the ugly, because the ego is very easy. Ego would be seeing somebody else winning and doing well and being like, I deserve that. I could do that. Or, you know, like the judgy. And the thing is too, we judge people's ideas or businesses and stuff like that, but for real, at least the fuck they did it. At least they did it. The coward move is to talk shit about it, judge it, and be like, I could do better than that, and you don't do shit. The journey has been a journey, okay? But I didn't have this language for y'all 2 months ago to come on here and have this conversation now of realizing these different things and what was like holding me back and what that disconnect really was that was going on in my life. I could kind of, you know, snicker and laugh about it now, but best believe the day that I discovered I was a hater hoe, I was sad. Because I've always like preached, I support women and hi babe.
Hey.
Hi. I'm talking to Beauty Gang.
Hey, Beauty Gang.
Yeah.
I heard you say hater hoe.
Hater hoe. We all been hater hoes. You just gotta acknowledge.
Yeah, but it's not good for you.
It's not good. It just holds you back. Yeah. That's what we talking about.
Stay in your lane.
My husband, y'all. My husband. I'm about to be done now. And the biggest conclusion, well, not the biggest, one of the many conclusions that I've gotten from all of this is that if all else, be honest with yourself. I wouldn't even been able to have a video like this and conversation like this with you guys if I didn't start being real with myself. But I think the beautiful thing about evolution and growing and womanhood in particular, the journey at least that I'm on, is that I can see the growth within myself. I might have gone through a lot of like painful discoveries about self that I really needed to work on and stuff, but those discoveries and those blessings, right? There's a blessing and there's a blessing. Blessing is blessing mixed with lesson. Something my husband came up with that it's really stuck with me. Even with like getting my identity stolen and stuff, I'll end up telling you guys about the blessing in that. There's a lesson and a blessing in that. Although this season, this pause season for me has been pretty overwhelming, chaotic, painful at times, it's been a blessing. Because it's opened my consciousness and awareness of self that not only is going to make me become a better overall well-rounded person, but also hopefully inspire somebody else to do the same and live in their truth and their authenticity more. And then hopefully that will inspire, they'll have a conversation with their friends or their family or somebody they care about that'll inspire them to live in their truth more and work on their discovery. Because to me, there's no cons with self-awareness, because with self-awareness, you become a better freaking person. You have a better relationship with yourself, better relationship with your loved ones, with your significant other, with your friends. I'm sure that's something I'll eventually even talk about, but went through a phase with a friendship that was just in a really bad, naive place, lacking perspective, lacking understanding, lacking self-awareness, and it was something that I was just willing to let go and like chuck up the deuces to. And then in recent time, with the more self-reflection that I had and stuff, it made me realize there's never one side to any story, and it's also never just on one person when it comes to a relationship failing. Oftentimes, it's rare where you can just point the finger at one person, because that whole you point the finger, there's four pointing back at you is freaking real. I used to be so prideful, and I think the ego would take over so much. I have all five fingers. You feel me? It's you. It's your fault. This was on you. This blah, blah. And it wasn't taking any time and accountability. Accountability. You gotta take accountability for your actions, for your rights, for your wrongs. I feel like a way more grounded person, and just I'm proud of the woman I'm becoming due to these blessings that I've experienced this year in particular. The biggest one of them all Wow, that's really weird. I'm really not trying to get emotional at the end of this video. But the biggest one of them all pushing me forward in the right direction has been my spiritual journey. I didn't really realize or was able to put it into perspective until this year that I was a default believer, y'all. What is a default believer, you may ask? A default believer, this is my definition, I've come up with all of this, but a default believer is basically, well, I was raised with it, so I believe in it. But I never was really trying to go out my way to dig any deeper on that relationship with God. I knew to pray, to say my grace before I ate food, but to me, I was a bare minimal believer. And it wasn't until just life got so chaotic and out of whack and unstable where it motivated me or almost forced me to try something different, to try something new. Because what I was doing for myself or what I thought I needed to do wasn't working, it wasn't sustainable. I'm just realizing I'm so blessed for the husband that God gave me, because I'm noticing how much I'm bringing up Josh's name throughout this video. But just having a partner that loves you unconditionally, and that also means calling you on your shit and bringing acknowledgement, certain things to your attention that'll help you become a better person for yourself and others. It's so important to have those type of people around you, whether it be in a romantic way, a friendship way, whatever. But what I was gonna say is Josh actually bought me my first Bible this year. Surprised me with it, just a random gift. And what I love so much about my Bible, because oftentimes I think I was just very intimidated by the Bible and its stories and just all of that. The Bible he got me in particular actually has summary sections in the beginning of each chapter, and then also has like little summarized subtext and subtitles on the side of each page. So if it was like Genesis chapter 1, it would have actual Genesis chapter 1, and then on the side of it, it would break down the meaning or the language. Because oftentimes I think the Bible tends to be very poetic, and you got to kind of read between the lines and take it for what it is. And basically this year is the first year I've decided to actually take that spiritual journey serious and be intentional about it, instead of it being that I'm just this default believer. Oh, I was raised in it, and I always have believed in God and Jesus and all of that, but I've never gone out my way to try to like develop an actual relationship with God, if that makes sense, beyond what I was already like taught or what was instilled in me. I had the Bible for a while this year before I actually started using it, because I think just the look of it is super thick, and again, it can be intimidating. But it wasn't until my life started to take a turn that I no longer felt I was in control of. Like I did not know what to do, but to really fall to my knees and ask God for guidance and help. Like, what do I do? I'm lost and I need help. And now I'm understanding, the older I get, the more why it's so important to have your relationship with God, and why like my mom or my aunts and just people around me have always emphasized that so much. I'm just now stepping into that version of conscious adulthood where I'm realizing how important it is for myself, for my self-preservation, to be honest. I have this daily devotional that I was doing every morning. So that was kind of like me taking a little step in the right direction, but I still it felt bare minimal still. And I put the idea together like, well, each devotional comes with a Bible passage, like a scripture, a verse and stuff. All right, once I do the devotional and I kind of summarize what I got from that, go to the actual Bible verse in the Bible and read the chapter. Because the devotional is just maybe like 1 or 2 sentences from a verse in the chapter, but it doesn't give you the full context and story of what was going on. I basically started doing my own Bible study, and it was giving me more insight and understanding of life and what God wants for us. And really our purpose here is about loving others. That to me, I've concluded love above all else. Love. How Jesus treated people and how God wants us to treat each other is love. Even when it comes to like the 7 fruits of the Spirit, patience, understanding, I think it's discipline. There's a lot of them. I haven't memorized them just yet. I will. I had to develop the relationship that worked for me, not based off something somebody's telling me to do. So even, for example, this is what I've been doing to develop my spiritual journey and relationship. Doesn't mean it's a one size fits all. I just think it's important to develop your relationship with spirituality in a way that is catered to you. This is what's best catered for me at the moment, and it's really, really helped me grow and be a lot more self-reflective, but also understand that life is bigger than the problems we allow to consume us. I think when I started to read more stories in the Bible about God, about Jesus, knowing that Jesus forgave, knowing that Jesus had patience, it kind of made me start looking at my life like, okay, but I won't forgive so-and-so for this, or I won't let go of that. I'll hold this grudge. For me, it made me have to take the ego and the pride out of it. Because if Jesus died for our sins, for us to even be able to experience life, and I have a blessed life. That was the other thing too. It's kind of like God is constantly blessing me and put me in such an amazing position and opportunity in life. I knew I needed to do more, and I wasn't doing like enough. And I also was lost on what to do next. So who else to turn to but God? In this short period of time, I've just felt so much peace that's kind of came over me, because I think the EC prior felt like it was all on my shoulders to get things done, to grow, to evolve, to win in life. I also thought that I had more control over things than what I really did. What I've kind of started to understand is that God has a mission for me. He's already had a mission and a destiny for me from the beginning. It was a matter of me figuring out what it was, what it is, what it's going to be. I used to feel like I knew it all, I guess. And I feel like I operated in that way as well. Even the matrix, that phase happened of me feeling inferior and therefore I need to get X, Y, and Z, and I have to be this type of influencer because that's the only way to get forward and stuff in life. I realize now how ignorant and arrogant and naive it was to think that this journey was just about me. I can't speak for other influencers and what they're gonna do with their life and their platforms and stuff like that, but what I can say and what I can admit to being guilty of is feeling like this platform and this opportunity and this life, like the blessings God has given me, is like just for me. Right? And I think that's why there is a lack of satisfaction and fulfillment for so long. Because when you're thinking in such a narrow lens of it's about me, how can I win? How can I make more money? How can I gain more followers, excel in my career? Me. Once I got there, once I was living in that answered prayer, oh, I want management, I want financial freedom, and I have this stuff and I'm still unhappy. And I wasn't even raised with that anyway, the materialism. Like, I wasn't raised like that, which is also why it doesn't speak to it doesn't move my spirit, it doesn't move my soul, and therefore I felt like, well, how am I truly helping people and impacting people's lives in a positive way? When I was in that phase, I didn't realize there's no pushing the generation forward. There's no empowerment truly that's coming from being a cute face with nice outfits and shoes and stuff like that, and a punny caption. That was not helping anybody. That wasn't doing shit for them nor me. And it's just such a low frequency. It was such a low frequency. I didn't realize it at the time. I just realized it now. It's such a low frequency to only be like dwelling in that as well as self. How can I keep pushing myself forward? Nah. Now there's this realization in me that I find more fulfillment. I had to start paying attention to what ignites me, what excites my spirit, what do I get happy about? Just the thought of it. It's helping others. I'm now in a place where I'm realizing the blessings that God has given me and has put me through is because it's so much bigger than me. And I did not realize that before. All of it is so much bigger than me. For God to put a lot of us influencers in the position that He did, it's not a position to be taken lightly. And for me personally, it's not a position to think with selfish intentions, because it's bigger than us. Like, this is, yeah, we're gonna have to do another video, y'all, because this is already going longer than I anticipated. But I'm just trying to like explain. I just feel so much woker now. I just feel so much more aware of self, because I feel like I went through a quarter life crisis. I don't know if y'all ever heard of that before, but it's kind of like in your 20s, because you don't know who the hell you are. And like everybody is kind of like acting like they do, or that they know everything, or that like this is how it's supposed to be done. But it's really like the blind leading the blind. None of us know nothing. And that's why I've been like going to God and just trying to have more conversations with myself to figure out what it is, because I'm not gonna find the answers from somebody else. I gotta turn on those lights in my dark house in order for me to feel confident in myself, in my ability, and in my lane. in my freaking lane. There's so much that's been going on in this head of mine, but I really wanted to make sure I came back with new energy. If I would have came back 2 weeks after being sad after I got off Instagram and I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm okay now, I figured it out. It was just a band-aid and we would have been back to square one again. But now that I've had a pretty decent amount of time to think, just think, based off the screen time reports that I was having, I was not thinking. I was just scrolling and being entertained, getting influenced by others, inspo and lifestyle, but it wasn't working for me. It didn't work for me, and I have so much more to offer. Something else too that was super apparent to me in realizing I was thinking super small and super selfish, and it just kind of tied into immaturity and ignorance and a little bit of arrogance. I think about late last year or early this year, I had kind of made a decision in my head of like, I feel like I've accomplished the natural hair content. I've been doing it for like 5-6 years. And I've done so many wash and goes, so many wash day routines. I've given 30 natural hairstyles, 20 blowout hairstyles, just given so much to like natural hair, right? To the point where I felt like I tackled it all. Like I'm tired of this. Like I've shown everything that needs to be shown. And I kind of made it up in my head, almost as if like this shit is a checklist. And like, I checked natural hair, okay, on to the next thing, which is why I started focusing more on like self-care, hygiene videos, which I do like and I do enjoy, and I'm glad to see that you guys oftentimes like them and enjoy them too. But it wasn't until I had recently partnered with Hulu and Hair Tales. If you have not seen it, it's on OWN and it's on Hulu. It's called The Hair Tales. Tracy Ellis Ross, Oprah Winfrey, and Angela Davis are the producers of it. And it's this amazing show about Black hair and the evolution of Black women and really the history of it all. Is super powerful. I highly recommend, 10 out of 10 recommend any and all, especially Black girls and Black women, watch it. But when I was watching it in particular, it just brought so many different emotions out of me, and another kind of like form of forcing me into some realizations. And one of the things that really stuck out to me was realizing that this natural hair movement, like this movement, it is a movement, it's just starting. Because I've been doing it for the last 6 years. Naively in my head, I was like, all right, I've given 6 years to this. Like I can move on, I can move forward to something else. Not realizing, one, how many people have truly been impacted by me outwardly representing my type 4 natural hair as a chocolate Black girl. Like the show really made me realize how this is really just starting. Like I don't want to give too much away, which is why I'm kind of like hesitant on how much to say or share, but there's so much about Western civilization that they've tried to instill in us to make us feel like our beauty isn't or wasn't good enough. Especially when it came to our hair, that it just made me realize the journey has just begun. And two, how naive and ignorant of me to think that it was just about me. It's about the movement, it's about the people before me, it's about the people after me. I always kind of come back to this, for my ancestors, to keep me grounded, to keep me rooted. I think for my ancestors, everything they went through to allow me to be in the position that I'm at right now in life. My ancestors had to blood, sweat, tears, fight, march, die. When you think about it in these different ways, how much was sacrificed for a lot of us to be where we're at today. And speaking for myself in particular, it's like, bruh, you can't be so ignorant and so selfish to think that the success or the opportunities given to you are just about you. At least I can't navigate my journey like that anymore. And also my spirit won't allow me. My spirit, when you feel convicted and disrupted internally, is your spirit talking to you. And I feel like I ignored it for so long. And then it wasn't until I started deep diving into the Bible a little bit more, having more conversations with myself, where my spirit started to feel lighter. And I started to feel a little bit more at peace as I gained more understanding. And yeah, that's kind of the biggest piece I've really taken away, is that this shit is so much bigger than me. I'm one little, and that's why I like going into nature, and in particular, Josh and I love going to water, like along the lakefront, because the water is just an ever-flowing type of energy. But it takes so many droplets of water to create this movement, this body. To me, it kind of correlates the same way. God placed me here in this position so that I could help this friend, so that I could help my mom, so that I could help somebody watching one of my videos, inspire them to start that business, inspire them to create this women empowerment, whatever, or to help propel and push shit forward. Because if there's anything that's also been very apparent when it comes to social media, we don't have leaders today like our parents did. We don't have a Martin Luther King. We don't have a Malcolm X. We don't have an Angela Davis. We don't have Black Panthers. The leaders of our generation are celebrities, are the social media influencers. It's the people that have social status. Those are the leaders, but they're not really leading shit. Not in the way that our ancestors and the leaders that our parents had in their generation. Is not the same. If anything, it's leading that direction of materialism and things that just really aren't important to the core of humanity and true internal happiness and satisfaction with self. So I know I said a mouthful. With all that being said, like that's partially where my head is at, y'all. Holding myself to a new standard and expectation and realizing, because this shit is bigger than me, and honestly, it's a relief a little bit. Like it's a different sense of peace that I got when I realized, oh, this is bigger than me. It's not just about EC winning in life or getting this accolade or attaining this amount of money, or it doesn't matter. Those things, regardless, it's a form of destination happiness, one, and that's toxic in itself. We're gonna have to talk about that in another video. But also, I just feel so much more happy within. That happiness within is not something you can buy. You can't put a price tag on it. But I feel so much happier within and at peace now, knowing or having a little bit better understanding of what I'm supposed to do. Because I was just confused. When I got that little matrix and I'm like, okay, the money, the materialism, blah, blah, that's not making me happy. But I was just stuck, like, well, what am I supposed to do? Now that I'm starting to understand that a little bit more, and like I said, even stuff like watching hair tales and realizing, oh, this natural hair movement, and in particular, it's more than just a natural hair movement, because the hair is a part of our identity. It's a form of self-expression. And we're just now on the brink of it being acceptable to showcase. Like, there was people recently still being discriminated based off their hair, not being able to perform in certain athletics. I don't know if y'all saw that wrestler who had dreadlocks and the ref made him cut his locks in order to participate, right? Or girls in high school and stuff, they have a problem with the braids or the cornrows, and it's a form of who we are. And it's like, even in this career field of mine, because the natural hair is just starting out, in particular, like, people don't even realize the different hair types. Like, I have type 4 hair, but I don't have 4C hair. But there's sometimes, for example, I work with a brand or people that say like, oh, you have 4C hair. And it's like, no, I don't. But and the beauty of it is, and what I want to start using, the power and influence that I have in the right direction is, no, I have type 4A hair and type 4B hair, but I do have a girlfriend of mine, Chizzy, for example, who has 4C hair. We're just on the brink of teaching people, and I don't even know if it's a matter of how to accept us or how to understand us as Black women or Black people in general. I was blessed to be in a position where I have a voice that I can use to influence the way brands look at us and treat us and digest and understand us. Even if it's just starting from a hair perspective. That might not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but something like clarifying, no, I don't represent all type 4 hair, but I know some girlfriends of mine that I can give you a spectrum. I can show you the diversity of us, because it's not a one size fits all. That really should be the conclusion of this video. Nothing in life is a one size fits all. And it wasn't until like I kind of recently started working on some campaigns and stuff and started to speak up for myself. And brand deals, like, they'll have mandatory talking points that you have to hit, you have to say this. And it wasn't until recently for one of them I was like, nah, can't say it because it's not true, it's fraudulent. It kind of gave me my power. They couldn't really do anything but accept it. It was either accepted or cut me as a client or whatever, to partner with me. But I'm also kind of in this blessed position where I'm one of few. And because so many brands are trying to be bigger, some of them truly, and some of them just covering their ass, but trying to be more inclusive and diverse, the doors are just starting to crack a little bit. And if God has put me in an opportunity where my foot can kind of be in that door and I can push it open for people behind me, that's what I need to do. That's what gets some fire under my ass, like excites me, because it makes it bigger than me. Because I can continue to knock off different individual goals, and that doesn't mean I'm not gonna have my own individual goals, but that'll just be that. It'll just be goals. It won't be this destination happiness, and once I get there, oh, life will be great. No, the real fulfillment is having a purpose that constantly evolves, and to me, helps others, pushes the generation forward. So I know I've given y'all an earful. I've talked entirely too much. That I know I don't want to abruptly end it, but I just want to get this out. And I want to start this new journey, this new chapter. It's a new chapter that we're stepping into, y'all. And I'm just so grateful and appreciative. It's the last thing. I'm trying to get through without crying, but I'm just so grateful and appreciative for every single one of you guys that have been on this journey with me. There's not really a lot of words that I can say to really express my true gratitude and appreciation for y'all, because I wouldn't be in this position where I'm at without you. Without the support of my beauty gang, I would not be here. I wouldn't have been African beauty that could turn into Isimeme Edeko. Like, just know, please understand that, well, one, please forgive me for the matrix that I had to go through. I am in the process of forgiving myself, but I think it's important to also ask for forgiveness from y'all, because especially when it came to like the natural hair thing, that's kind of what really got me, you know? And then for me to just be like, okay, I'm good off of it. All I can chalk it up to is a lack of immaturity, a lack of awareness, and ignorance. But again, just want to thank you guys so much for your patience and understanding on this journey of womanhood that I'm on. Y'all have just always just been so welcoming with open arms. And it's kind of wild because I've never even got to meet even half of you guys in person before. But the support, the unconditional love and support I get from y'all is really what keeps me going, and it's motivating. It's very motivating, but that's something I kind of had to realize too this year, is that motivation is fleeting, which is why discipline has to come into play. Motivation will, kind of push you a little bit forward, but it won't sustain. I had to figure out what was going to sustain me for myself. I had to figure that out in my dark house in order for me to be my best version for y'all and for myself. And I'm just excited to see where this journey takes us now that I'm evolving and growing, and I hope that you guys are evolving and growing as well. I'm excited for what life is gonna bring now that I'm in this new headspace, taking more pride in my authenticity and self-expression, and understanding the power, the true power of my influence, and that it can be whatever. I can curate the lane however I want. I don't have to do it like her. I don't have to do it like her just because it works for them, because that's their lane. I have my own purpose and I have my own lane, and I'm excited to stand more in that power so that hopefully I can help break glass ceilings and again hold the door open for those that come after me the way my ancestors did. Like, would not be possible if they gave up. So I cannot. I can't stop. Definitely about this enter into an all gas, no break season. But breaks are important and necessary. That pause season when you feeling just out of body, you don't know, I highly recommend turn it all off, because you're not gonna find the answers anywhere else but in here, and okay? So with that is all I have for you guys. This video, this is long. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm excited. I'm excited, y'all. If anything that I've said in this video is any ounce of relatable, please don't hesitate to comment below what you've been going through, or even just what you guys have been going through, how y'all have been, different life lessons you've been going through. I love when we have that type of dialogue. That was the point of this type of community that I wanted to form. Feel welcome, open, and safe to share your truths and live at your edge. I want us to be transparent and relatable. That's the only way, in my opinion, that we can all move forward, because these fake ass facades and masks that people are wearing and pretending like shit is always great and life, you're living your best life when really you're at home sad and whatever, like it helps no one. Transparency and relatability is key. so that people don't feel alone, you know? So I hope that this video connected with someone, made someone feel seen and heard and not alone in this journey of trying to understand adulthood and life in general. So yeah, y'all. I love you guys so much. I don't even know if I hit all the bullet points, but it's okay because I'm back. We're gonna get these videos going, these conversations going. I love you guys so much. I thank you guys so much. And until next time, guys, bye.
Working on